you said just now that part of what helps is to talk openly. And I found, a few moments ago when you talked about you struggle with these too, um, that immediately there arose in me this sense of compassion, not like, oh, poor Vivek, but more kind of beautiful. We're in this together. Here you are having this really important kind of success and serving in this beautiful way, and yet it's so humane to be able to speak it out loud and say, here we are, we're all wrestling with this in some way, and that truth telling is part of what connects us. And maybe that's also, as you say, it's an expression of love that we're able to speak, because there's a kind of humanity and vulnerability in it. So what about, and I think about it again just because of the current polarization and difficulties, there are also um, isolation and a kind of increasing isolation for those who are marginalized in the society, which is a large part, probably close to 50% or more, who aren't white or who are LGBT or who are immigrants. And the movement right now, in some ways, is to increase that marginalization. What can we do? Because if we see that we really are all in it together, um, those of us who are care or listening about this, um, what do you recommend?
Yeah, I'm glad that you asked, Jack, because I think one of the hardest things in today's society is to actually see people suffering. We've become really, really good at masking what's actually going on in our lives, at putting on a brave face and making it appear to the outside world that all is good, and that we're strong and fine. But the truth is, like, many of us are struggling inside, and sometimes that may come from discrimination, based on race, based on your, on your sexual orientation. Sometimes they can come from trauma that you've gone through that you're still contending with. So, we all have our own challenges and our own inner demons that we're wrestling with. I think when we recognize that, I've found, like, in my own life, like, if I just recognize that the people in front of me, regardless of what they look like, may be dealing with some deeper pain, that shifts a bit of how I interact with them. I find myself doing this a lot, increasingly with people who I may have had a disagreement with or conflict about it. They do something and it annoys me. Then I try to, in those moments, just stop, take a deep breath, and just recognize, okay, this person may be struggling with something, like, in their own life. Maybe they're also in pain, and I just don't know why. And it's coming out in a way that's perhaps harming other people around them, including myself. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad person. And I don't always do that successfully, but I try to do that as often as I can, because it reminds me that the flip is also true. There are times where I probably inadvertently do things that may negatively affect somebody else because I'm coming from a place of my own pain and my own trauma. So I think number one, recognizing that we're all at some level suffering, I think is vital. I think giving people the benefit of the doubt before we jump on them or judge them is also really vital. And that could mean not just in person, but I think we have become somehow so comfortable with chiming in on social media and online to condemn or berate people who we don't even know and can't even see based on one single thing that we heard or said that they may have done. And that I think that we have to step back and pause and just say, let's let's pause again and give a moment before we actually judge somebody. Let's ask ourselves if there may be perhaps a reason why maybe they may be acting the way that they are. And finally, one thing I think it's really I find personally helpful is for us just to take a moment to reach out to others and to check on them and just to see how they're doing. And that could be people we know, friends or family members. It could be people at work that we encounter as well. Like, let's just say, like, you've got somebody in your workplace who's quiet. Let's say doesn't speak up very often, or somebody who is quite, vocal, but happens to be, just more subdued on a given day, and they're not speaking up much in a meeting. Just being able to, just after that meeting or at the end of the day, just swing by and just say, hey, just want to check on you and see how you're doing. To you, that might be 60 seconds out of your day. To that person, it's the powerful moment of feeling like they're seen and like they matter. So I would not underestimate the power, the extraordinary power of us seeing other people, checking on them, listening to them. I think in our society, like we're often led to feel like we only add value if we can fix somebody else's problems. But by acknowledging that they matter, by seeing them, and which we can do just simply by listening to another human being, we can have a powerful effect on lifting them up at a time when there's so much that is making the people feel like they're invisible and like they don't matter.